New year, new Camp Half-Blood shirt, new merch at the back. Let's just hope that it goes better than last year. Honestly, so far it hasn't, but we'll see. Hello, people of the internet. Honestly, with everything that's gone on this past week in my country, I just really needed an escape, so now I'm here talking about Rick Riordan stuff. As I've said before in past videos, this is mostly just for my friends, but I honestly just want to make decent Rick Riordan content with like no fancy cameras or lights or anything, so we're gonna see how this goes. So far it's been going fine, so we're gonna keep at it. I apologize in advance if I pronounce anyone's names wrong. I know I'm pronouncing Rick Riordan's name correctly.
Riordan. Riordan. Sort of rhymes with fireman. Sorta.
Yeah, that exists. If I mention anyone else's names in this video and I mispronounce them, I'm sorry. There will be very minimal spoilers for any Rick Riordan content, but a lot of this stuff is stuff that the fandom has known for a long time. I will mostly be talking about the plot of Percy Jackson and the Kane Chronicles if I do talk about anything, so you've been warned. I will likely be using fan art in this video. This is just a disclaimer that none of this art is mine. If you want to check out the artists, I will post a link to their social medias below. Any interviews and important news posts that Rick and Becky have made, especially ones that I mentioned, those will also be linked below so you can check that out for yourself, because I'm just going to really be covering a lot of the basics and not going into a lot of detail, but just enough to put a lot of people's minds at ease, because y'all, like, please chill with some of these things. I promise it's going to be okay. We have to have faith in Uncle Rick. Alright, let's get into it. A lot of talk in the past few months in this fandom has mostly been about the Percy Jackson and the Olympians adaptation that's going to be on Disney Plus and the Kane Chronicles adaptation that's going to be on Netflix. And there's still a lot of confusion as to what exactly is going on with these adaptations. If I see one more person on Twitter say anything that's like, they better not screw this up again like they did the last time, I'm going to scream into one of those pillows back there, because do y'all not understand that Rick and Becky are literally producers on both of these projects? They made a production company. Guys, we don't need to be skeptical about anything, alright? This is actually happening and we need to celebrate. At the time I'm filming this, it is January 8th. If any new information comes out after that, between when I am filming this and editing and then posting it, I will not know. That's in the future. I don't know any of that stuff. So if I'm missing something major that comes out later, then I can't do anything about that. But I will be covering most major things in this video. If you want a brief summary of what things are like right now, it basically goes a bit like Percy Jackson the Olympians is been approved to be a live action show on Disney Plus. The Kane Chronicles has been approved to be live action movies on Netflix. Disney has to have Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This is because Disney owns 20th Century Studios, which originally had rights to Percy Jackson. Since they got ownership of 20th Century, now Percy is under ownership of them. Rick can't put them anywhere else because he sold the film rights to 20th Century years ago. We all saw how that turned out. You know, the cast was really good, but it's just the execution and everything, whatever. The Kane Chronicles was free range. Was not even really a thing until recently. Becky posted something about that on Twitter recently, but I'll get into that a bit later. Right now, the scripts are being written for season 1 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This season will follow the plotline of the Lightning Thief, and then the script for the Kane Chronicles for the movie, the first movie, is being written to follow the plot of the Red Pyramid. Now, these shows and movies will be out next year, 2022, late next year at the absolute earliest. It's way more likely they're going to come out in 2023. This is assuming that everything can get back to normal, everyone can resume a normal filming schedule, and everything gets greenlit to actually start production, because we're not even in production yet, which is another thing I'll get to later. For right now, if you just want the gist, no casting is going on right now. So please Stop asking Rick and Becky about it. 2, the Heroes of Olympus, Magnus Chase, and the Trials of Apollo are nowhere near getting confirmed for any sort of adaptation. That's like 7 years away at least. So y'all please chill. If the TV show and the movies are successful, then we can get those. So you have to watch them and be committed fans, like I know we'll be, but I'm just reiterating, those have to be successful in order for the other series to get adapted. So, commit to it. Theme parks, oh boy, do I want one. Oh boy, have I been planning one since I was in 7th grade. Oh boy, are we nowhere near close to getting one anytime soon. So we can speculate, we can plan our childhood dreams, but it's not going to get done anytime soon. Okay, yeah, as I was saying earlier, Disney has to have Percy Jackson because they own 20th Century Studios. Netflix has free range of really any of the other books, but definitely Kane Chronicles more likely than any of the other ones. This is what Becky recently posted to Twitter to explain how the Kane Chronicles exactly ended up on Netflix. Rick previously talked a bit on why the Lightning Thief is at Disney, who owns the rights to Percy, and why Kane's are at Netflix. But the simple answer is Netflix was interested. Not only was the creative executive at Netflix interested, she is a fan of the books and really knows them. The only downside to this for the readers is that it will mean absolutely no crossovers for Percy and Kane's ever. Rick's crossover stories are what are called frozen rights. They needed to be frozen, not available, so there was no confusion about who owned what rights. Yeah, that last part made me want to cry, because when Rick made the announcement that the Kane Chronicles were going to be made as feature films for Netflix, my first thought, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, what about the crossovers? Like, I love the crossovers. How many major New York Times best-selling series by the same author do you get to see where the characters legitimately have a crossover and that plot actually ties up loose ends in part of the series that they come from? It fixes a plot hole, and the Kane Chronicles love crossovers. If you haven't read them, oh my god, you need to read them. You can buy them all individually as ebooks, or you can buy them all together in the Demigods and Magicians book that Rick published. They originally all came out as ebook side stories, so that's why I actually own the last 2 in ebook form, and the first one, The Son of Sobek, I have in the back of, I think it's The Serpent's Shadow. And then I later bought the Demigods and Magicians version because I found an accidentally upside down printed one at Target, and I was like, this is amazing and I want it. This baby right here. So it's like this. Yeah, I don't, there were quite a few of them in Target back when this came out. I don't know why it's like that, but yeah, it's great. If you buy this one, like, this is the back. This was back when the Trials of Apollo was coming out. Oh my gosh. It actually has the pictures of the covers of the ebook in it, so you're not missing out on that. That's really cool. It's lovely. It's just such a shame that because we're getting these awesome adaptations finally, with Rick and Becky as producers and super involved with like every step of the way, they've started their production company, Mythomagic Incorporated. Like, oh my gosh, Mythomagic Inc. Can we watch the animation for the logo real quick? It's Riptide, y'all. The pen turns into a sword. It's Riptide. The sad thing about Percy being at Disney and then the Kanes being at Netflix means that we can't have this. Not unless Disney and Netflix work on a project together, which will probably never happen. Or one ends up buying the other, which also probably will never happen. So unless they kind of want to come together for the event of the century, these crossovers and any possible crossovers that Rick might write in the future will not be adapted. That goes into another thing of where do the rights stand for the characters for these adaptations? Well, The crossovers can't get adapted, mostly to not deal with having to worry about who owns what rights to which characters. Now, that's where this leads to. Say Percy Jackson in the Olympians is extremely successful. Say the Kane Chronicles is extremely successful. Which company is going to get the Heroes of Olympus, Magnus Chase, the Trials of Apollo? Disney. I mean, if we're following the pattern that I think is being set for us, all of the rest have to go to Disney. But Jade, Magnus Chase isn't a Greek or Roman mythology-based series. Yes, Jade, but Annabeth Chase is in every single one of the Magnus Chase books. So it's not going to happen. I mean, really, just logically speaking. Everything else is going to be on Disney, more than likely, if Percy Jackson and Olympians is successful and the other series get approved as adaptations. I mean, like, it probably will. I have no reason to believe that they won't. This is just several years down the road. Because Percy, because Annabeth, because several other characters from the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series are in the other Rick Riordan books, more than likely the Kane Chronicles will be the only thing that will be on Netflix. If all the other adaptations are made, they'll all be through Disney. To avoid any fights over character rights, they will have to stay with the company that currently owns them. That's Disney. Wherever Annabeth Chase goes is where the production for the Rick Riordan adaptations is going to go. So yes, where are we now? That's a good question. Rick and Becky are producers and founders of the Mythomagic Inc. production company. They made this specifically so that they could work with both studios and have a lot of say and not extreme power, but a lot of influence over the adaptations, so that what happened last time won't happen again. It's very important to note that when all of this talk about the adaptations even being a thing, Rick said from the very beginning that he told Disney, we do this right or we don't do it at all. I have no reason to have any doubts in the script, the plot, the casting. Rick and Becky are going to be there every step of the way, and that should give every single person in this fandom some comfort. They're here, and they're making everything wonderful. Honestly, this was one of the best things that came out of 2020 was the announcement of these adaptations, because we knew that Rick and Becky Riordan were going to do their damn best to do justice for these books, because this fandom is worldwide. There are millions in it in several different countries. We love this. Honestly, if we do what we really need to do and want to do, which is totally invest ourselves in these adaptations, watching them, doing reviews, having watch parties, having a bunch of discussions, we get so invested. This will be as big, if not maybe even bigger. Don't want to get my hopes up too much, but they're kind of up there. It will be just as big as Harry Potter. I'm telling you right now. But where are we at the production? What about casting? What about where they're going to film? How it's going to be filmed and stuff? Well, you see, the thing about that, my friends, is that you need a script in order to do development and production. And right now, we don't have an approved script. Rick has been co-writing the pilot script. Rick Riordan has been co-writing the script for the first episode of the first season of Percy Jackson the Olympians. And it's currently being approved. It's being revised, being sent back for approval, being revised, being sent back for approval. It's a long process, but he said several times, we need to get this right. He has no experience whatsoever with anything in the film industry besides, hey, I got sent this script to look at for the Lightning Thief movie. Wow, it's really bad. This project is gonna tank. I don't want anything to do with it, guys. Peace out. Oh, look how far we've come. As soon as the script for the first episode gets approval, then they can start development and production. That includes putting together directors, producers, the crew, finally getting around to casting, deciding where to film, how to film, what they want to do. He said in a wonderful hour-long interview with the Half-Blood Report, if you haven't listened to it, go check it out. There are spoilers for this newest book, The Tower of Nero, because it is the end of the Camp Half-Blood Chronicles, and of course they had to talk about it. They asked Rick a few questions about the Mythomagic Inc. company. Rick said that they don't know if they want to completely build the sets somewhere like they did for The Mandalorian and just film on the set right there. They don't know if they want to go film on location. These are all things that they need to talk about and decide, and then need to start building or finding locations to film at. The exact same thing goes for the Kane Chronicles. Rick is not writing that script, but they have a team in London that they've been working really closely with. Rick and Becky have recently read the script that they have so far for the Red Pyramid, and Rick said on his latest news post, "This year, in 2021, I really loved the first draft of the screenplay." We're getting it, guys. We're absolutely getting this, and it's going to be amazing. So yes, we have Rick and Becky and their production company working on these projects, and I have so much confidence it's going to turn out amazing. The most we've seen so far for any of these is the starting logo. This might not end up being the final logo, but it's what we have right now, and it's animated and it's amazing, and I cried when I saw it. We have the logo for the Percy Jackson and the Olympians TV show on Disney Plus. It's so beautiful. I'm telling you, once these scripts are approved, then they can start doing everything else. I'm assuming that by the time they get around to casting, it'll be in the second half of this year at the earliest, at the absolute earliest. 3 months from now. That's what I'm estimating, because they've already sent the draft in for Percy Jackson Olympians. The Hollywood teams did take a break for winter and only started back up this week. So there's probably going to be a lot of back and forth with making edits to the script and then sending it back in. Rick is trying so hard to really set the tone right with this first episode, because it will set for the rest of the season, quite possibly the rest of the entire series. I do think there will be changes in tones between the seasons, because the Lightning Thief is quite a different tone from the last Olympian, just because, you know, the beginning is like super kind of adventurous and like new, and it's so fantastical. And then you have the last book in this series, and it's like, wow, there's a war. People are dying. It's very intense. But, I mean, the sass is there the entire time. I'm so ready for it. Future adaptations, Rick has said that people have been asking him about it. Y'all chill. Please let him work on the script and the production company. Please. It's way too early to do anything for other adaptations. Specifically, what would be next is the Heroes of Olympus, because the other two series in the Riordan verse take place after the Heroes of Olympus. Honestly, even the crossovers take place after the Heroes of Olympus, because events in Heroes of Olympus are referenced by Percy and Annabeth, because they narrate the last two crossovers. Carter narrates the first one, Annabeth narrates the second one, and Percy narrates the third one. In the second one, the Staff of Serapis, I remember Annabeth mentioning the Argo 2 and Frank, and that's things that you will not understand unless you've read the Heroes of Olympus, which, if you haven't, you're missing out. That's my favorite of the 5 main Rick Riordan series. Please go read the Heroes of Olympus. The adaptations for the other series will only happen if we really come and show our support for Percy Jackson, the Olympians, and the Kane Chronicles. The last seasons for Percy Jackson aren't even really approved unless the first season does good. If the first season tanks, they're not gonna automatically make the rest. No, they're gonna cancel it. We can't have that happen after we waited so long. By the time this comes out, Disney Plus should be available in many more countries than it is right now, and way more people should have access to it. Of course, Disney Plus is free, obviously, but it's something that everyone should be able to access if they choose to buy it and subscribe to it. But yes, right now, no casting, no future adaptations, and funny enough, in that interview with the Half-Blood Report, they actually asked Rick about a theme park, and I was like, Thank you. Thank you so much, because I've had this grand vision in my brain since I've read the series that, like, the theme park would be like Camp Half Blood, and you would just walk around Camp Half Blood. You could eat lunch at the dining pavilion. There would be a fireworks show at night. You could like take a little walk through the woods, and then on the other side of the woods it's Camp Jupiter. And then the hotel for the resort, I'm assuming it would be a resort, like Orlando has a resort, Disney has resorts for their parks. The resort hotel would be the Hotel Valhalla. You can go stay at the Hotel Valhalla, and every like floor or wing would be like themed on a different god. So if, say, you went to the resort multiple times, you could like pick different gods. Imagine going to a room and it's like Poseidon themed, and you feel like you're staying in a really fancy version of the Poseidon cabin. Like, I need it. But sadly, as Rick said in the Half-Blood Report interview, this would be several years in the future, and everything would have to be extremely successful as Harry Potter. There's been one book series that's gotten a theme park, and it's Harry Potter. I want to walk around Camp Half-Blood just as much as I'm currently able to go walk around Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley. I mean, of course, not really right now because there's still a pandemic, but I've done it before, and it's so magical, and I've just dreamed about that for most of my life, just being able to walk around this series that I love so much and feel like I'm actually in it. Y'all, do you understand what we're gonna get with this series? Merch! We're finally gonna get official merch. Like, I can have these that I got from like book events, or like these Camp Half-Blood shirts you can buy off of Amazon that random people make. Like, you can buy fan art merch, you can turn your old t-shirts into pillows like I did with my old Camp Jupiter shirt. But there's nothing like walking into a store at a theme park and just knowing how like official everything is, and like the tag on the back of the shirt has the brand. Someday it'll all be there. But this show and these movies have to be successful first. So, in conclusion, be patient. This is going to be a long process. I don't expect to see anything official regarding this until late next year. Maybe we'll get a first trailer, and it would be amazing if we did. But that's kind of pushing it because everything's been on a delay because of the pandemic, so we really don't know when everything's going to start back up. Casting's far away. Please be patient. Please be patient. These will be amazing adaptations because we have Rick and Becky Riordan, who I would die for, and I'm not even joking. They're heading this. Can we watch the Myth of Magic logo again, please? They made that. They're going to be awesome. We just have to do our part as fans. We need to show up, we need to support it, we need to watch them, we need to encourage other people to watch it, because if these become as successful as Harry Potter, we're going to get a theme park, we're going to get awesome official merch, we're going to see the actors grow up like we did with Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. Like, it's going to be amazing. I'm just imagining those 11 or 12-year-olds that they cast and just seeing them grow up. We just have to be patient and support it. That's it for this. It's just a quick little news drop. If you personally want to get any instant updates with regards to these adaptations or anything going on in Rick and Becky's life and world and what Rick's next project is, follow Rick and Becky on Twitter. I cannot express enough how fast it is if you follow them, because instantly anything they tweet, it's straight from them, except Rick is secondhand information. Ashley is currently running his social media accounts. She ran the Lightning Thief musical account, and now she's running Rick's social media accounts. So everything on Rick's Twitter isn't exactly officially from him, but it is coming directly in a line from him. He tells Ashley what to post, and Ashley posts it. If you read Rick's news posts on his website, those are actually officially from him. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be a long process, but oh my gods, It's going to be amazing. Everyone, that's it. I'm not going to tell you to subscribe or anything because I really don't care about that. I just like talking about Rick Riordan stuff, as I know a lot of you do too. Everyone, please be safe, stay healthy, and oh my gods, is this ever important now? Please be kind to each other. The world needs it.